Okay, so this lesson is going to be on figurative language. We're going to focus on this 8th grade ELA content standard, which says determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative and connotative meanings. And we're going to focus here on figurative meanings. First off, why is this important? It's important so you don't misinterpret what you're reading or hearing, so you don't take something literally when it's meant to be applied figuratively. Additionally, it's just another tool for you to express yourself with when you're speaking or when you're writing. So we're going to go through 4 different types of figurative language. We're going to give a technical definition of each one, and then we'll kind of unpack each definition, show some examples, so everybody has a better understanding of what each term means. We're going to begin maybe the most simple one. Seems like a good place to start. We're going to talk about this term simile. So I'll write the definition of simile here on the board. And the simile is very simple. It's not a very technical definition, but it is simile is a word, or it compares 2 things using the words like or as. So this is simile compares 2 things using like or as. And so a couple examples, similes. The room is as hot as an oven. So we know the room is not literally as hot as an oven, but someone might say that they're uncomfortably hot. And because it uses the word as hot as an oven, that makes it a simile. Additionally, I have eyes like a hawk. So it's using the word like a hawk. Those are 2 examples of similes. They're comparisons using like or as. Pretty straightforward stuff with similes. You can always pick those out. When you're seeing a comparison with like or as, that's going to be a simile. Okay, the next figure of speech, the next form of figure of speech we're going to focus on is a metaphor. So a metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. So that's a little more complicated, obviously, than simile. But it's pretty straightforward, actually, when we look at the examples. And we'll do so using songs, because metaphors are really common in music, really common in poetry, songwriting. And some common songs, they use metaphors. Life is a highway. So life is not literally a highway. By the way, side note, literally, it has a very specific meaning. It's effectively the opposite of figuratively. It's a pet peeve of mine when people use literally just kind of to express to what extent. I mean, they'll say something like, oh, that's so cute, my heart is literally exploding. That's not what literally means. If your heart was literally exploding, you'd be dead. Your heart is figuratively exploding. So just a little side note, literally means that the words are explicitly meaning what they say. It's the opposite of figurative or figuratively. So life is not literally a highway, but he's just using a metaphor. He's taking you on a journey, telling you how life is a highway. Love is a battlefield. Love's not literally a battlefield, but it's dangerous. You can get hurt. All's fair in love and war, right? So love is a battlefield. You better be careful. Baby, you're a firework. Well, baby's not literally a firework, but maybe baby is explosive, or baby can burn you. I don't know. Baby, I don't know what Katy Perry meant exactly, but you get the idea. When you're calling someone a firework, it means something other than the explicit definition there. Okay, the next term we're going to focus on will be an idiom. Okay, an idiom. Idiom is a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. So what does that mean? You can't deduce what it means. Deduce is to be able to use the context to figure out what it means. But they've been established through their usage. So because they've been used in this context so many times, so broadly, everybody understands what these phrases mean, but it doesn't make any sense. If you were just learning English for the first time and you heard someone use the phrase piece of cake, well, you're thinking of cake. You're like, what? Why would saying piece of cake suggest that something is simple to do? So that's our first example, right? Piece of cake. There's no cake involved anywhere here. We're just saying, like, if I asked you, hey, Jake, do you think you could beat me at Fortnite? You'd be like, piece of cake. I could beat you, Mr. McClintock. So why? I don't know the origin of that phrase, but the point is it's well accepted what it means. So that's an idiom. Another one, beat around the bush. So beating around the bush might be like how a politician answers a question. They're not explicitly answering what they've been asked. They're giving you a word salad, talking about a bunch of other things other than addressing the difficult question that they were asked. But there's no bush anywhere around it. But we all know from hearing this so many times, we know beat around the bush is to not address the thing head on, but to kind of dance around it, to offer other explanations. Similarly, raining cats and dogs. Obviously, it rains water. There's never any cats or dogs falling from the sky, but it's a very common application. It's a very common idiom. It's raining hard outside. We'll say, oh my gosh, I'm not going outside. It's raining cats and dogs. Okay. Okay, next we have hyperbole. Hyperbole is kind of a fun one. Hyperbole is exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally. There's that word again, literally. Hyperbole is also kind of, maybe you wouldn't know how to pronounce it if you read it for the first time, probably. So it's good to know this word for when you do come across it in a book or something and you're not calling it hyperbole. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It's just exaggerations. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Well, you're suggesting that you could eat a horse in one sitting, right? Nobody's capable of eating that much. But the point is well taken, that you're just saying you're really hungry. You want to eat a lot. Additionally, might tell students to stay off their cell phones. Maybe I've told them a couple dozen times, and I say, hey, put your cell phone away. I've told you 1,000 times. Well, no, I haven't literally said it 1,000 times or more. But again, the point is well taken, that I've said it plenty of times, enough for you to know better. Yeah, so that's hyperbole. It's often really common. It's also really common, like newspaper headlines. They're always trying to get your attention. So you might see something like, everybody is fleeing California because the real estate is so expensive. Well, not literally everybody is fleeing. In fact, the population is pretty steady, but they're just trying to catch your attention and make you interested in reading the rest of the article. So there is a online worksheet that we're going to go through, or that you are going to go through, and they'll have examples of the different figures of speech, and you're going to identify each example, if it's simile, if it's a metaphor, an idiom, or hyperbole.